What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. The first major tournament with Sword and Shield Legal happened in Japan a few weeks ago, and today I'll be looking at the top 70 decks meta share, and then also a few deck lists from the top 8 of that tournament. First, I want to shout out PotownStore.com. You can use code Celio for 5% off there to get Pokemon TCGO codes automatically emailed upon purchase. And also shout out to FlipsideGaming.com where I write free articles, and you can use code Celio all caps for 10% off of your next order, $10 or more. Alright, so we're going to be looking at the top 70 decks from the Aichi Champions League. This is the meta share. This pie chart and all this information has been supplied by PokemonCardJP.com.au. They translate Japanese information over into article form about the Japanese metagame and stuff like that. So shout out to them. They're a great resource. Something to note here is that the successful decks, this is the top 70, so it wasn't a top 70 cut. They actually cut to top 16 here, I believe. But I guess top 70 was the 8-2 records and up, or a certain record and up were in the top 70. So to note, there's a lot of tag team decks. We've got ADP Zacian, Mewtwo and Mew Psychic, Pikarom, Mewtwo and Mew Fire, Lucario Melmetal with Zacian, Reshizard, Rowleggs, ADP with Mew Mew, and then Lucario Melmetal by itself. There's only a few archetypes here that aren't tag team based. So even though we got Vs and VMAXs in Sword and Shield, the standard format for this tournament, or the standard meta for this tournament, was still very tag team based. Zacian was played a lot, and that is a V, but the VMAXs looked like they weren't very successful, but that could also be because it was the first tournament, so people were sticking with archetypes that were either familiar to older ones or archetypes that they already knew and were safe with. Sometimes that's the best way to go when a new set comes out. Just stick with things that are already strong. Arceus Dialga Palkia, ADP Zacian, that deck was very popular and very successful. It had 19 within the top 70, and then Malamar Mewtwo was actually the second most successful, and then behind that is Pikarom. We'll be taking a look at all those decks. We'll be looking at two different versions of Zacian. We'll take a look at Malamar Mewtwo and also a look at Pikarom. So this is a top 8 list from the tournament, and this is ADP Zacian. So it's actually a pretty basic deck. There's only a handful of Pokemon here. So you just want to go early Altered Creation and then start swinging with Zacian V. It's attack does 230, and then you have to, well, next turn you can't attack, so then you have to switch it out and back in if you want to attack next turn. But with ADP's Altered Creation effect, so Zacian V does 230 plus the 30 from Altered Creation, so that's 260. Which is a lot of damage, and you're also taking extra prizes. And then they do play a Giant Bomb. They also play a Shrine of Punishment, so you're putting out a lot of damage with this and cleaning up knockouts with the bomb or the shrine, which is better since you used Altered Creation and you get to take more prizes when you knock out with the attacks of your Pokemon. And it's really just the ADP and the Zacian here. There's not much else happening. And then you've got the Jirachi for some draw support and the Absol to mess up your opponent's Jirachis. Jirachi is still very, very good. It is not falling off, it seems. But some new cards to add. The Team Yell Grunt is in here, and I guess that's kind of for tempo in mirror matches. That actually seems very, very good against other ADPs. If you don't know what the Team Yell Grunt does, it's a supporter card, and it's like Team Flare Grunt, except it reads, put an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon back into their hand. So it's not as good as discarding it, but it can definitely set them back on tempo. And then uses the tag call engine just a bit, since ADP is a tag team Pokemon. And then it uses Malolana and Guzmahala. So the tag call, I would actually like to see a Cynthia Caitlyn in here maybe to get back your Malolana, or maybe even another Malolana. But other than that, the deck is pretty straightforward. You just want to go Altered Creation and then start swinging with your Zacian. It plays the Metal Saucer, so you can set up multiple Zacians and switch between them. And also Zacian V's ability is busted. If you don't know what it is, it says once during your turn, you may look at the top 3 cards of your deck, attach as many metal energy you find there to this Pokemon, and then draw the rest, and your turn ends. So if you go first, it's really, really good. And even if you didn't go first and you don't have anything else to do, this is an ADP deck, so you're just going attach, pass. It's really great to draw cards and maybe excel some energy. Next, we've got a Mewtwo Malamar deck, or Malamar Mewtwo, whatever you want to call it. This is also from top 8 of the Champions League, and this is very different than Malamar decks that we see in North America. Very, very different. Actually, anywhere outside of Japan, it's different from. So you'll notice that not a single one of the attackers are single prizers. They're all GX based or V. And a huge thing about Malamar up until this point has been it's good because it's a single prize deck and it forces your opponent to take 6 prizes and it spreads little bits of damage everywhere. But this deck is looking for one shots. It's not looking to spread a little bit of damage everywhere. So the main attacker is Mew Mew, and you can also use its attack to heal since you're playing Psychic Energy. That's all you're playing in the deck, so its actual attack is also useful. But then you just got a ton of things to copy. You have the Trevenant Dusknoir tag team, which is 150, and it shuffles 2 cards from your opponent's hand back into their deck. Gengar Mimikyu, which can be used for Horror House early, and then Poltergeist, which combos nicely with its Horror House. The Latios Tag Purge, which has been seen in regular Malamar decks, but Tag Purge can be good since this was a very heavy tag team format. Dragonite 270 knocks out most Pokemon. It doesn't knock out everything anymore since VMAXs have high HP, but it knocks out all the relevant Pokemon that it seems like were in the successful decks at this tournament. And then Mega Lopunny Jigglypuff, there's some thought that maybe that card could fall off since it does 60 more damage for every GX and EX, and V and VMAX Pokemon just came out, but it looks like GXs aren't going anywhere anytime soon, so Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff is still a very good card. And then it also has the Naganadel that does 170 and discard 2 of your energy. It does 170 to any of your opponent's benched Pokemon. And then, like I said, the 3/3 Malamar, 2 Dedenne for draw, and Fion to make your opponent switch, but no single prize Pokemon, which is super, super interesting. And he, of course, uses Quick Ball, which is a great new card. So, Malamar and Psychic decks in general have a lot of search right now. You have Quick Balls to get any basic for discarding 1 card, and then you have Mysterious to get any of your Pokemon for discarding 1 card. And then 3 Cherish Ball, since this deck has just a ton of GX Pokemon in it. So I thought this was so interesting to see how good this deck was in Japan. Now, Japan results don't always translate to outside of Japan, but they do sometimes, and we'll have to see. We'll have to start trying this out against the decks that look like they're going to be good in North America and see if this deck pans out. But it was just super successful in Japan, so I would have to imagine it at least has some merit outside. Next, we've got a regular Zacian deck, or a Lucario Melmetal Zacian deck without the ADP, pretty much. This deck I've featured playing on my channel IRL, and I've also done a deck profile of my version of the deck. It's definitely a little bit different than this list, but this is one of my favorite decks so far in Sword and Shield, and this got 2nd place at the Champions League. So again, Zacian V is the main attacker, but then you also have Lucario Melmetal, which is surprisingly really good still. If your opponent has a Pokemon with a lot of energy on it, like a Pikarom, which is, again, still a very popular card and still very, very viable, you can use Lucario Melmetal GX's GX attack to discard all the energy on it, and then your Metal Pokemon take 30 less damage the rest of the game. And then you also have Metal Frying Pan. So your Melmetal Lucario is 260 HP with a Metal Frying Pan. It takes 60 damage less from all attacks. And then your Zacian V is a powerhouse doing 230 damage a turn, and it's also taking 60 less damage because of the Metal Frying Pan and because of the Lucario Melmetal's GX attack. And then you have Mallow and Lana on top of that to heal and just switch between attackers. V Pokemon can't be gusted by Great Catcher, so your opponent has to be playing Custom Catcher or Ninetales to gust it up, so you can, like, Malolana a Zacian to the bench, send out another one, let that take a hit, maybe switch back into the other Zacian, fully heal it with the Malolana. I've played around with this deck, like I said. You can see some gameplay on my channel, and also a deck profile on my channel of my version of this list. But I do like this deck a ton. It's very fun. It's very versatile with the Lucario Melmetal GX attack. I think you could also fit an ADP into here and just play ADP and Lucario and Zacian, and that seems just fine, which is what I've been doing personally. But like I said, this was the second place deck, and you can actually watch, there's a stream final match of this versus Pikarom on one of the Japanese YouTube channels. And then lastly, we've got the first place list, which was Pikarom. I don't think anyone expected Pikarom to be coming out as the first place deck again after we got a new set. But Pikarom is still doing it. So some things to note here: they only played one Dedenne. They don't play Zeraora. They do have the new Tapu Koko V, which is actually a very, very good card. As vanilla as it seems, it does 200 damage for Lightning colorless, and because it's Lightning type, you can do that for Lightning with Thunder Mountain, and then you can make it do even more damage with Electropowers. So that 200 for just 3 energy and nothing else seems pretty plain, but it's actually very, very good. And it also says you can't attack next turn, but you can just switch in and out or whatever. So again, there's nothing crazy about this list, but there are some unique things. I like the Mimikyu, I guess, for versus Mewtwo decks. Instead of playing Power Plant, they play the Mimikyu so they can two-shot the Mewtwo, and in between shots, it can't use its ability unless they have a hood. The Oranguru here, it lets you choose a card from your hand and switch it with the top card of your deck. That's actually very good with Zacian because of Zacian's ability, but here it's just a card that allows you to dig like one card deeper for what you're looking for. And interestingly enough, they played Guzma here with a unit energy, so like Tag Call guarantees you getting Pikarom and Guzma to get your turn 1 energy attachment, and Guzma can also search out Thunder Mountain and a skateboard, so you can like get your attachment, your board to Jirachi, your Thunder Mountain, maybe discard 2 energy with it, and Coco Prism all in the same turn because you had a Guzma. So Guzma is actually a very good utility in this deck given the right situation. And I just wanted to say again, it's a huge surprise to me that Pikarom was able to come out on top in this new standard format. So I have the top 8 here for the Champions League. There were, in the top 8, 2 Pikarom, 1 Lucario Melmetal Zacian, 2 ADP Zacian, and then 3 Malamar Mewtwo. The Malamar Mewtwo's didn't make it past top 4, but they were the most popular in the top 8. And like I said, Pikarom won the whole tournament. So I think these results are pretty interesting. There's a lot to work with here with Sword and Shield coming out in just a few weeks in everywhere else but Japan, and we'll have tournaments going underway with that too. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you are excited to build with Sword and Shield when it comes out in Standard. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and also subscribe if you would like to see more content like this. And I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.